quality management system, leveraging technology. I request Mr. Nanjappa Kadrivel to take his seat on the dais. We welcome you, sir. Integrated schools intentionally support, protect, and advance an ethos of diversity, respect, and understanding between those of different cultures and religious beliefs, and of none, between those of different socioeconomic backgrounds and between those of different abilities. Educating and elaborating us further on this topic, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our speaker of the session, Mr. Nanjappa Kadriwal, Chief Technology Officer, EduTiv, a Bachelor in Physics and a postgraduate diploma in computer applications. He brings 35 years of experience in providing decisive leadership management and guidance with a proven ability. Strong organizer, motivator, and team player with established record of success in identifying new and emerging technologies in the information technology field and general business opportunities. Highly skilled in developing operational strategies and directing major mission mode products from original concept through implementation in education, automobile, and government sectors. Sir has been a pioneer in various e-governance projects, responsible for design development, and has rolled out simpletruck.com certified by IRS, defining the standard operating procedure for customer support, product enhancement, and maintenance. Championed the design, development, and rollout of simpletruckeld.com, certified by FMCA, meeting in the ELD mandate of the US federal law. He has even conceptualized, designed, architectured SQL, a secured online deployment of question paper for MGR Medical University, Tamil Nadu. To appreciate such a magnanimous personality in the IT field, I request Dr. Aruna Devi to present a sapling. Thank you, ma'am. I even welcome the august presence of the principals, administrators, and representatives of your respective institutions for being such a wonderful audience since yesterday. Without taking any more time, I hand over the session to Sir.
All right. Good afternoon, all of you. Thank you for patiently waiting. I thank the organization to give me an opportunity for this presentation. Throughout the day, you would have heard eminent speakers talking about NEP and a lot of information related to concepts, gaps, data, all these stuffs. I'm sure each of your school has got specific systems and practices in place, which has currently helped you to run it successfully. But given a scenario now, definitely you have to look at it from a different perspective to articulate and carry forward. So just to start an introduction, I'll run through a quick PPT and then walk you through the product of our additive platform. Additive is basically a integrated school quality management system. Takes care of NAP framework and talks about policies and practices, connecting all the dots in your cycle in the life cycle of the school. I'm just going to give you some 7 features and see whether you have that currently in your practice today. Maybe some schools may have, some may not, some school may not have. Are you able to help the parent, student, and your own department to identify their strengths, opportunity for improvement with data? So you might be wondering, okay, you are doing something now. Let us see how it happens. So this gives you a complete 360-degree rollout of the student report card, where you can drill down granularly, take care of individual assessments, either formative assessment or a summative assessment, see the criteria. I'll go in detail when we walk through this. Then your second point, are you able to track the holistic progress of the student across years through a digital portfolio? I think the earlier speaker also spoke about this. When a student travels in the school for more than 5 years or 6 years or more than a year, you would like to know what are his strengths and what are his achievements like. A new teacher coming in, he or she should be able to identify the student, understand his capability, and then the personalization talks. We talk about personalization. For this, we require a lot of data. So this gives you a sample of how the student portfolio looks like, talks about this academic, scholastic performances, co-scholastics, his attendance across the years, how he has performed, and then his other skills, his achievements, certain things which he would like to showcase it in his portfolio. Then we talk about his other participations, like where he has achieved goals or whatever it is. Then his health records. So this gives you a complete understanding about the student when he travels across. We have more informations like how he has performed in each of the subject across the years. What are the difficulties he has undergone? All those things will be made available there as a portfolio. Then the third feature, like, are you able to help your student to set, monitor, achieve, and sustain goals through continual improvement, supported with data again? Here, we'll see how the goals are set. He challenges himself. He sets his own goal. Like student from 6 to 12, when they're traveling, they set their own goals. It could be assessment-wise, subject-wise, then the overall. And then he comes back and says, okay, I want to participate at least in so many competitions. I would like to give some presentations. This is what I've planned for this year. Okay, now whether I have achieved it or not, I'll be able to see here the performance, what is my goal and where am I? Across the years also I can see. He himself can see, okay, how he has traveled. And this also gives you an insight how the teacher has handled that particular class, different sections. Then where he stands within the class. When we talk about the maximum, what is the average, what is the minimum, where he stands. So this gives you a different perspective when the student himself looks at it. He's not compared with anybody else. He is compared with himself, what he has decided that he will do. Are you able to generate differential question papers continually? Yes, morning we saw that the earlier session. What question to be asked is a very important thing, and how it has to be asked. That gives you a setting stone for the assessments. So when you want to make a very dynamic, scientifically well-balanced question, definitely we feel that you need a tool to do it. When I go through the product, I'll tell you in detail how this can happen. So here we talked about taxonomy. So when we talk about a particular exam, you can specify like, what are the chapters you want to plan? And in each chapters, how many types of questions you would like to handle? And in each type of question, what are the taxonomy levels? So this sort of combinations can happen. So at a given point of time, you can generate from the bank the well-distributed question. I know it's a very challenging thing for manually to prepare a question paper. Do you agree with me? Do you agree? Okay, then are you able to track your annual pedagogical plan and mitigate the risks and achievements? So when you do the planning, how do you do that? Like in the year beginning, we have a plan. Okay, we need to complete this. This gives you the overall efficiency of the school. So when we talk about quality, it is not just the academic quality. We talk about every practice which is happening within the school. It could be right from the admission process, the governance, that is your complaint redressal systems, your attendance monitoring systems, every aspect will play a role in this. And this framework provides the interface for that. Here we talk about where the lesson plan is there. So the teaching plan was who has completed, which teacher has not completed, why it is there, if there is a delay, why it is happening. So all this is proactive. You don't have to work on something which is, today we meet once in a 15 days, or there is a weekly meeting for the coordinators, monthly meetings for the division heads. But by the time you go there and take an action, compile this data, there's a lot of events happening there. So this tool will help you to look in advance, like, okay, at this rate, they'll not be able to complete it. How to mitigate it? What other things should be provided? Why it has not happened? So all this can throw a lot of information and light, and how you assimilate it is very important. Are you able to use school teacher standards to collect data and will help the teacher? So he talked about professional goals. So there is again a big challenge for every institute head. When they do their annual appraisal, it is done with transparency and accountability. So here we have a system wherein you can create an assessment scorecard, give the weightage for that, right from every activity what they are doing. And that is very objective, and it is tracked at all levels, and these scorecards are generated based on that. This is again definable. You have rubrics for that. You have a self-assessment, right from when they do a lesson plan, the lesson plan is observed, that is tracked, and how it is done. Then your classroom observations, that is tracked. So what is the level of training they should undergo, a particular teacher? Today, you might be doing this manually, yes, but this platform connects all these dots to make the life more easier. Then the seventh is, are you able to track the effectiveness of all your school practices with data? So there, I'm sure almost for every meeting, you manually prepare this, how the comparison, what is the performance, how the whole school performs, segment-wise, how is the performance, department-wise, how is the performance, how they have done with the previous performance was this. So this happens at various levels. To prepare this, I'm sure they are spending a lot of time. Every faculty spends a lot of time. So these times are saved, and you're able to convert them into a more qualitative work. That is what we are looking at it. The platform helps you to do that. As we said, activity dashboards. And so this becomes a reality. It's not something which is not possible. A lot of places it is happening now. So what I will do is I'll quickly walk you through a couple of main points on this platform, which I was explaining. Then I would like to take questions. So we were talking about a student report card. how does a student report card granularly your so this is how you, when you do a parent-teacher interaction, you'll be able to discuss with them granularly, okay, how this particular student has performed. And this can happen for both scholastic as well as co-scholastic activities. And as such, the platform provides rubrics for all the activity-based, your formative assessments. Say, for example, I would like to see a scientific skills. These are the criterias and these are the 4-point scales. The platform per se provides these, but if you have your own rubrics, you can add it up onto this. Then we talk about subject-wise performance, how it has happened across schools, which we saw in our earlier slides. Like that was a gist of it, and you can drill down. You can go down and see section-wise how they have performed. So when I take a particular subject, I can compare it between 2 sections. So if 2 different teachers are handling the same subject in 2 things, you will be able to see how. Still, I can go down and see, okay, who are these 3 students? You will be able to drill down back to their individual scorecard. So this will help you during your analysis also, where the problem and how the gap is and how to mitigate that. We also have, as part of the 360, like you say, okay, how do we go about getting this? Initially, you go on planning your assessment policy. You define your annual assessment policy, which you're currently doing. And this is a little more elaborative. And these subjects are loaded based on the affiliated board, what we are associated with. And then you define your formative assessment for which activities, class-wise, subject-wise, activities are defined and rubrics are available for that. So you can have your, in case you find an activity which is not listed here, you can create your own activity and you can connect that particular for the rubrics. So this gives you a flexibility to define your assessment policy, and then you can also define your annual promotion. You can provide a weightage, which changes time to time. So you don't have to dependent on anything else. As far the teacher is concerned, when the assessment is done, all they will be doing is they will just log into the portal, just key in the marks simply like this. So here, this is a formative assessment. So these are the criterias and these are the rubrics, like how, what are the rubrics? They just give the rubric score. And that English is already available, which gets populated there. And then you also have an option for lower classes. You can capture the evidence. So this will also mitigate a lot of issues. Like today morning, they were referring like you have a human rights violation. Somebody has filed. Some parent may come and say, you have not evaluated my son properly. So all those, there's no place for all those. You can capture the evidence here. So it becomes more holistic. So this is exactly what the teacher will be expected to do at the time of inputting the marks. Then we talk about assessment policy. In the assessment policy, we have defined, let me go back to the policy. Yeah. Other evaluations. There we have a self-evaluation, that is student evaluation. Then you have parent evaluation and peer evaluation. So how does a peer evaluation take place? So what we have defined here, we defined your peer when it is defined. When it is defined in the assessment policy, I can go here and create a peer assessment where you split the students into 4 or 5 groups within the class, assign them a group activity. And when a group activity is given, one student can appraise or assess the other students within their group. And it also can happen whether you would like to do one-on-one. So it's a school's policy. It is left to the school. And subject also is left to the school. They can decide the subject and they can decide how the policy should be made. And how that a student does, we'll have a look at that when there is a so when I log in as a student, from my dashboard, I'll be able to see what are the peer, what is that? Oh, this is the parent. Okay. Just a minute, I'll log in as a student. Yeah. If you look at it as a student, when I log in, I'll be able to do a peer evaluation. So this is how you have the criteria. Like other students in this group will be listed out, and they have, okay, contribution to the team's work, interacting with it. So these rubrics are already available in the platform. Depending upon the age levels, they can select this and use it. And they also apply their remark. This will get reflected in the student's report progress card. And again, you have the indicators here along with the comments for that. And also the student can do a self-evaluation. Here, it has been defined for that particular assessment. There are 8 questions for this. Again, you have a definition of how you do. All these rubrics are available. It's a rubrics based. And this is where the granularity or the competencies are really evaluated. And that is reflected, coordinated at all levels. Then we have our I'll show you the report card. The report card is basically, you have a printed report card. This is configurable. They can customize it, they want it. It could be an abridged single page report card, or it could be a detailed report card, where you can define all the performances also can come in. All your formative details, how it has come in. Then all the way up till the class remarks, teachers' remarks, and then your other performance. So this is all. Then we talked about student portfolio, which we have seen there. That gives you a complete breakup of how the student portfolio looks for. So coming back, we have seen only the performance side. How do we achieve this? So when I log in, now the teacher's role comes in. Like when you are a particular subject teacher. Okay. In the year beginning, they do the academic calendar planning. Once the calendar planning is done, which all of you do, all the schools do now, there you define what activities is going to happen on what dates. But that's kept in Excel. Here, the platform provides you to track that. And also it tells you how many working teaching days is available. In case you want to teach physics for class 10 or 12, you may require 200 hours. For chemistry, 180 hours. Whether do you have that sufficient days for teaching? It will help you out in case there could be some emergency. There are some holidays. You may lose some teaching days. How to mitigate that? That's where this tool is going to be really helpful. Then the teacher starts planning the teaching plan across the year, how they're going to do this. So the calendar is already loaded with available teaching days are mapped, and it's a collaborative tool. Suppose if I handle section A, section B could be handled by somebody. When they log in and create a teaching plan, automatically the system will prompt, there is a teaching plan available. Would you like to use it or start your own from scratch? So you have a platform for that. Once that is done, then you do your lesson planning. In your lesson planning, as we said in the morning, he was discussing in detail, you define your LOs. And how do you do that? How many days you want? You define it here. Surely you are doing this already manually, but now it will be part of the platform. And that's where you connect all your dots. Whether the assessment policy is defined, then your learning outcomes are defined well, your teaching plan is met in time, and the tests are happening in time. So this will have all these extended activities, define your extended activity, you define your strategy, methodology, then you add all your assets. What are the assets you're going to use for this? It could be a video asset or a PPT, or it could be anything else. So you define that there. Then we talk about extended activities where you give your homeworks. That you can define what sort of activity they would like to do. It's pertaining to that topic and subject. So at the end of the day, you will also keep a track like what are the things they have done. And then every day the teacher, after he or she completes the portion, they will update whether that is achieved, not achieved, what they have planned, why it is not done. So this will give you a quick feedback across the stakeholders. When we talk about stakeholders in the morning, a lot of people referred that. Even the parent can know that, okay, these are the portions covered today and how effectively it has been done. So this way, it is transparent and communicative. Then we have your reflection. Once the lesson plan is made, it is reviewed. There's a workflow. This automatically goes to the coordinator. Coordinator from her or his login will be able to review this. And there is a rubrics for that. And the periodic review will also create a scorecards for you, like whether also it will define whether the particular teacher requires a specific training and what areas. So this is again very objectively, we can granularly track all that. And then we talk about reflections. So after completing, you do your reflections on that. So that next year when you do the planning, you can reuse this and make some corrections, what you felt that could have done better, that can be tracked here. So this gives you a continuity all through. Then you can create the worksheets. And this is where we talk about your personalization. So on a class of 25, you need not give everybody the general worksheet. You can give them a challenging worksheet for students who are on the higher order, then practicing or enriching, whichever way you would like to. So this way you'll be able to personalize their levels, and this tool really helps you to do that. The most important thing which I would like to share here is about your I'll show you how the question paper is generated. That will give you a better insight and the ease of use, how easy it is. Like when we talk about so the platform per se has its own question bank, and the school can create its own bank themselves. The framework is available. So here you define the chapters are loaded for that particular subject and class, and automatically it is dropping down. And then you can define the difficulty level, the taxonomy to which this, and this is where the teacher will exercise her teaching capabilities there. And then the type of questions you can, based on the subject and the class, you have this is again, there is a matrix for that, which will get preloaded, whether it's a multiple choice, fill in the blanks, or a long answer, short answer, or comprehension. If you have a comprehension, then you have multiple questions within that. So all this can happen through, and also you can provide the answers at the bottom. So once this is done, then you get into what the time of examination, you do your blueprint. And this is what I was explaining in the earlier session. Like for which class, which term, what are the chapters covered here? Then you can define how many sections you would like to have, one section or two. Sorry, two sections. 1 mark question or a 5 mark question. Then the distribution comes. So you can balance it well. The questions across all the 3 chapters, where that's again another big challenge when you work out manually. And then you can also define how based on the taxonomy. This will really, once this is done, it can be moderated and then saved. Then you start generating the question paper. So at the time of generating the question paper also, we have some constraints, or you can build a constraint on that. So when I say constraint, suppose you want to say 3 sets of questions. Okay, I can say make 20% repetitive questions. The rest should be a unique question. So my bank is capable of handling so much of. Then what is the percentage of easy questions? So I would like to ensure that everybody in the class is able to handle this paper very effectively. I would not like to skew the paper. So I'll say 40%, 20%, 20%, and then 20%. Then I generate the paper. This could be reused. So essentially this blueprint can be reused at a short notice. So you don't have to, then I can just generate the display and the question. From the bank, I'll be able to get the papers out. So this will really save time, and you can ensure that the distribution and the quality is always maintained. And that's very important. And somebody was talking like the planning also will tell you like whether those portions are covered for this particular test. Most of the times in one of the meetings, you run up, the question paper is coming, but maybe in one chapter they would have not covered. Then they'll go to the rooms and say, ignore those questions. That sort of problems you can avoid. So all those will add an overheads onto the system. That can be avoided. That gives you the operational efficiency. That's what we call it as a integrated quality management, not just one aspect. It takes care of all functions in your school. So this will give you a full sight on the book. Then we have your complaint redressal. So which is part of your, I would say, overall school, like definitely you are maintaining books as part of the governance, you require this. How many complaints you have received. So we have just categorized it like please, place, people, practice, others. So there is a workflow. All the stakeholders can raise a complaint redressal and how much is resolved, what is the turnaround time, and what are the repetitive complaints you face, how this can be mitigated. So this will also help the management or the school to ensure they have a better framework. So this gives you like a quick analytics, like where it is, where do you stand, and what percentage of this is based on place, and what percentage is based on this practice. Like you have different dimensions you can play around with, and you can see where to address these problems easily. Because manually, if you have to do this again, we know that it's going to take time. So most of us just try to ignore it for convenience. So this will lead to a lot of baggage into the system. That's the whole concept. It's not that you're doing it's a rocket science. It is how you connect the dots. That's important. And that's what this framework does. And this is in line with your NAP. So when we talk about how the competencies matrix, that is also developed. If you have any specific questions, I would like to take it up.
Hi. Can we see the differences in performance with the taxonomy? Like this is what the child has performed in remembrance. This is what it is. Evaluation. This is the score of them or the description of.
I will just walk you through that. Suppose if you go, come again?
As per the taxonomy, remembering, evaluating, creating that.
Okay, in that case, what happens is a question paper is prepared based on the taxonomy. So that there is a provision for you to mark the answers question wise. Suppose normally today what we do, we tick it, put the total and say, okay, he has scored 20 out of 25. Instead of that, if I start marking each question, okay, he has answered this question, this is 1 mark. He has answered this question, it's 2 marks. That provision is there. If we do that, then you get the heat map. Because that question gives you what is the taxonomy it is on. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, got it. In terms of self-assessment, does it give any feedback or remediation thing for the child to learn? Because it's self-assessment and self-learning, does it have any tool for that?
See, the interventions are being done for that. Yes.
Can you show that?
No, it's not part of it now.
Thank you.
So in the question paper, what you said, Bloom's taxonomy, the marks, will that be reflected in the report card?
This
or
is for summative. This question paper is fully summative.
in the question paper, will that be reflected? If this is a hot question, this is a lot.
No.
No. Okay.
We are not doing.
Okay, good. I have a couple of questions. Can I ask?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Go.
So data entry will be done by the teachers, right?
Yeah.
All the data entry.
Yeah.
Okay. Rubrics is based on what? Do you have any framework such?
Yes,
that?
our academic panel has done that. So
Okay.
they'll be able to, in case you have any questions, I will note it down and they'll be able to answer that.
I just want to ask, like, is it based on NEP or particular?
Exactly, it is based on NEP framework.
Okay.
Yes.
I got that.
Right from your ECC, that is early education, then
Okay.
your preparatory found, all these things is taken care.
Okay.
So different age group, like 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, whatever we talk about, it follows that.
And how corrections is done by the teachers and enter the marks, or there is a provision for automatic correction as well?
See, the correction is done. Today, if you take a pen and paper test, then it is done by the teacher. Then the teacher inputs the marks alone.
So can the parents access the evidences?
Definitely, yes, in the report card. That's why the evidences are taken. Again, it's a school's policy.
School's policy.
Yes.
Mm.
There is a provision. If school decides, yes, I would like to show the evidences,
Mm.
yes, they can.
They can access to online.
See, the report cards are made available in the parent dashboard.
Huh.
So they'll be able to access them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So how will the teachers access this? Do we need something called as a cloud system or something where anywhere we can sit and access it? Or should we be in our school locality where it's connected to the internet or something? Or we can be anywhere else, outside the school, and can we access and give the input
Yeah, you can access it from anywhere.
from anywhere?
Yes.
Okay.
Because all this entire application is available in the AWS. Yeah. See, that is one of the biggest benefit also. Suppose if you want to like to add some questions into your question bank, you can do it anytime. In case you find some interesting points which you, before you forget, you can update it in the data bank. Any other questions? Definitely, I'll ask my marketing team to reach you out, sir. Definitely, I'll ask my marketing team to reach you out.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So even I have a question. I wanted to know, like, how frequently does the teacher have to keep on updating this? Like, is it only when the examination is taken, or it's to be
Okay,
done
Let
on
me
a daily
answer that point.
basis?
You're not going to do anything more than what you're doing now. Today, you're doing your annual plan, then you're doing your lesson plan. That is planned, okay, weeks ahead or months ahead, and that is reviewed. Once that is done, you finish your classes, you do all your reflections. Here we have the workflow for that. So the respective coordinators also participate, which is done in the coordinators meeting now. That comes as part of your workflow now. So somebody need not ask you what has been done. They'll be aware that what you have done. So that's the difference. So then what happens? Then you finish your exams, then you update your marks. So currently what they do is, in most of the schools, what I have found is they put it in Excel and gave it to the administrator, and the administrator inputs it into the software, whatever they have, and there is a reconciliation, and then somebody has to verify this. So there's a big process behind this. So we would like to have a simple policy, capture the data at the point of origination. When we say capture the data point of see, you are the originator, you are giving the marks. So when you input it, you are going to give it for that 20 student only. So you'll have the focus, you know exactly what you're doing. And if there is any deviation, the system will also say, you can't input 35 marks because it's only for 20 marks. So this sort of capturing will be ensured. That is all will be done. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me talk because there are a lot of people who may be shy to ask you question. Let me do the devil's advocate. I think many of them know, and you also know. A very simple question. I've been a practitioner, practicing teacher. One of the challenge for us becomes is I keep on writing the lesson plan again and again, but then that becomes only a routine to take care of my principal or the block education officer. That's all. I don't write it with the intention. So when you're trying to talk about this particular lesson plan, will this particular product will take care of the lesson plan? Because as a teacher, I know as a practicing teacher, if I do once and I do a control C, control V, I don't have to type the whole lesson plan again. A, B. If I'm playing the role of a coordinator, will it also help my feedback to be given to me in the platform as a classroom observation? C, if I'm playing the role of the principal, because I saw the dashboard, whatever you have shown, can you show that dashboard again, please? Workflow, easy. I think there's something on workflow. What are the different tasks done by the teachers in a school?
Yeah, I'll show you that.
Not this one, the other. Okay.
I'll show you for a different class. You have a better data there. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So at least it gives you the, can you just go back to that whole thing again? That
Okay.
boxes.
Yeah,
Just, just close that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when I try to look at it, what are the items there? I'm not able to see. Can you just quickly read it out for me on the left hand side?
You have student attendance,
Okay.
teaching plan, lesson plan, reflection, then whether the portions are covered, whether the assessment policy is created, formative assessments are completed, then your mark entry has been done, whether the subject.
So this 1 minute. So what basically you're trying to tell me that if I have not made my assessment plan, the principal has access or the coordinator also has access. Suppose 3 of us are handling the class. If they have not completed, I have completed. My skin gets saved, they get caught by the principal, right?
Yes.
One,
Yeah.
okay. Now talking about the lesson plan, again, the challenge of collaborative lesson plan, which new education policy is trying to talk about, a lot of collaboration to happen. If I complete, it will get reflected. She doesn't complete, her name will reflect. So can you show us one sample on that quickly?
See, in this case, okay, when the lesson plan is not done, it's not get reflected here.
Okay, it's not done. So
Yeah.
that means the person is, so that yellow thing is basically trying to look at.
Hello thing is half done. Red
Half
is
done.
nothing done. It's like a traffic light. Green is fully done. So that way it works.
Okay, can you go back to that student report card, please? I'm sorry that,
Not at all. See, here, when you talk about the lesson plan, I would like to add another point there. It is reusable, point number one, and it could be collaborative. So within the same campus, or if they would like to share it to the community also, they can do. The platforms are available. So in this process, you get best practices in place.
okay, what is the student name there? Just one by one.
Okay. Arush.
Arush, okay. Can you go to the Arush whole thing again? Minus
Okay.
one more. So there are typically 2 cycle tests which are being done, or term 1, term 2.
Yeah.
And there are 2 cycle tests which are there, 3 and 4. Can you help us to understand what is cycle test 3? Because I will select out of 5 some 2.
Okay.
Can I take up English or Kannada or any one subject? Can you take open physics itself?
Physics. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So under physics, these are the components. which
You
are-
have 2 formative assessments, 1 summative assessment. That's a written assessment.
Okay. So that means I can still select, I can conduct 4 examination, I can take best of 2 also, or I can take 5 and best of
Yes.
2.
Yes. See, you can conduct 5 formative assessments and you can say best of 2, or you can also see you have this flexibility gives you here is out of 5. The first is mandatory. I can take best of any 2 or average of anything. It could be in any combination. So that flexibility, this system will allow you to do it.
Sure. So can you just click on scientific skills, one of the scientific, whatever the.
Yeah.
Okay. So now if I want to know proficient or intermediate, that is what competency rubrics will ask you for.
Yeah.
If I click on that, will I get a statement along with it?
Yes, you have the English statement. This comments which comes in along with that.
These can be comment. Okay, can you show us if you have taken this from observation from somewhere, can you show us the rubric?
Yeah, I will show how the rubric looks like.
Because the question which came up from her was making a lot of sense.
Okay, so this we have rubrics for class-wise formative assessment, co-scholastic assessment. Okay, let me take for, okay, say let us look at this. Okay, so these are the criterias. On the left, you have the criteria. Then I can define whether it's a 4-point scale or a 5-point scale or a 6-point scale, whatever I would like to do that. And then I can go ahead. You can customize your. You'll be able to customize your rubrics.
Sure, thank you. So I think the question papers are based on Bloom's, the rubrics are defined, but these rubrics are accessible to everybody who is going to use this.
The platform, if they subscribe to the platform, yes.
Sure, thank you very much.
So we have 2 questions from the online platform also. The first question is by Ms. Vinu Sharma. She asked, will the assessment criteria be implemented from the foundational stage?
Yeah, you can do that. You can say what are the other formative assessments you would like to do. The activities, all those activities you can define.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Ms. Meenu Sharma. The next question is by Ms. Geeta Mary. She asked that, do you cover different languages, different boards, text, private text with respect to the content and question papers?
Okay, there are 2-3 things into this. Let me answer one by one. This platform is board agnostic. It can work for CBSE board, IB board, ICSE board, could be state boards also. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is we don't provide any content per se. We load the metadata. Say, for example, if it is CBSE, we know what are the syllabus and curriculum. We load those information from 6 to 9. NCERT books are followed, and you have the chapters, everything is defined. As far as languages are concerned, we have certain set of publishers and data that is for languages, what is available, but we will help them to, what do you call it? On at the time of onboarding, whichever the school uses that particular text, we will help them to do that. That's basically to cover the chapters for that particular books. Then coming to the next question was, what was the last point?
It was based on the different boards.
Languages, multiple languages. This platform can handle 23 Indian languages. So you can use any language in this. Yes.
This rubrics, what we're talking about, will the parents also have an access of this?
See, when it comes into the report card, automatically it gets reflected there.
Rubrics I'm talking about.
No, this is basically schools thing. They
Yeah.
will not, they won't be able to make anything out of this. This is a rubrics. If we have to make this meaningful, it has to be captured from the student's performance.
Yeah.
And then represented it in the report card. That is what the parent will see.
That is one aspect of it. In
Yeah.
our school, what we do is the parents is very clearly to know why we are grading exceeding, why we are grading meeting.
I will give you the answer for that too. Again, you have an option in the, what do you call it, report card. Whether you would like to show what is the rubric or whatever the indicator we have selected, only that description, or the other descriptions which are available for that criteria.
Got
So it all depends on the schools, what they would like to do.
got the answer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have, do you have the provision of that?
That provisioning is there, but it's subject to how you configure your report card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll be able to take just one last question due to the paucity of time. The question is from the online participants. Do you have a mobile app or for the parent or the student also? Is it accessible?
There is a mobile app available for this platform. And it has got specific role to play. It's a parent app, what we call that as. There are a set of functionalities which the parent has supposed to do, like they can see what's happening inside the class. What is the timetable? What are the activities, the attendance, the fee information. They can apply the leave for the ward and they can raise a complaint at result. They can do a student assessment also, child's assessment also they can do. That is part of your assessment policy. Yes, it is available.
Thank you, sir. I think so we are done with the questions, so we can have a big round of applause for the engaging session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank you once again for all your patience.
If you concentrate on finding whatever is good in every situation, you will discover that your life will suddenly be filled with gratitude, a feeling that nurtures the soul. At this note, we end our session for the day, and I would request Dr. Mary Jacob to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Nanjappa Kadriwal. So your lecture, as you began saying, connecting the dots in the life cycle of your school life, staff empowerment, and a continuous comprehensive evaluation both of the student and the teacher's performance is surely going to give an insight to all the people present here. I would now like to take the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks and appreciate the effort put in by the organizers for the meticulous planning, the participants who have joined in offline as well as online, our dear student volunteers who have contributed for the smooth conduct of this event. If time is money, then today you have spent million for us. Thank you all for making this day successful.